My name is Edna Burke, 35 years old. People think marriages collapse during screaming matches. Mine collapsed over steak, red wine, and a sentence my husband thought sounded modern instead of cruel. Elliot and I had been together for 9 years, married for 6. No children, just a condo in Raleigh that I bought before the wedding. A stable life, and routines that used to feel comforting, until they slowly started feeling one-sided. He worked in medical sales. I worked as a project accountant for a commercial builder. For a long time, we were good together. Real good. Weekend trips, grocery store jokes, bad TV at night, arguments about thermostat settings like normal adults. Then Elliot got promoted last fall. That's when things shifted. Later nights, more gym time, his phone turning away whenever I entered the room. Strange comments about people settling too young or marriage making people feel trapped. I noticed everything. Women usually do. Our anniversary dinner was on a Thursday night downtown. I wore the navy dress he always liked. He arrived 20 minutes late, smelling like expensive cologne and confidence. Dinner started normal enough. Then he set his fork down carefully and said, "Edna, don't react emotionally. I just want to have an adult conversation." My stomach dropped immediately. Then he said it. Marriage shouldn't stop me from seeing what's out there. For a second, the entire restaurant blurred around me. Glasses clinking, waiters moving, someone laughing near the bar. Elliot kept talking because silence always makes selfish people nervous. He said he loved me, said he wasn't asking for divorce, said monogamy was outdated and mature couples should allow room for freedom and growth. He actually used the phrase modern marriage on our anniversary. I stared at him for several long seconds before asking quietly, "So you want a wife and options?" "That's not fair," he said quickly. "No," I replied. "It's accurate." Then I stood up. He followed me into the parking garage, trying to explain that I was twisting his words and making things black and white. Right before getting into my car, I looked at him and said, "You asked your wife for permission to explore other women. There's no gray version of that, Elliot." I drove away while he still stood there talking. In the parking lot, I called Jana Mercer, the attorney who handled our prenup years earlier. It went to voicemail. I said, "Hi, Jana, it's Edna Burke. My husband just asked for freedom on our anniversary. Please call me Monday morning." Then I went home and started organizing my life. Bank accounts, insurance documents, utility passwords, shared expenses. At midnight, I checked the family iPad Elliot used for work travel. That's where I found messages with a coworker named Celeste. Nothing explicit, but enough. Hotel bar selfies, late-night jokes, one message from Elliot saying, "I'm figuring out the timing." Another saying, "Edna will adjust once she realizes it's not about replacing her." Adjust. Like I was furniture. That line hurt more than the flirting. I packed one suitcase of his clothes and left it beside the front door. Then I texted him, "Since you want freedom, I'm treating tonight as a separation. Stay somewhere else this week. We'll speak through counsel Monday." 3 minutes later, he replied, "Are you seriously doing this over one conversation?" I stared at the message for a long moment. The frightening part wasn't that he betrayed the marriage. It was that he truly believed I would stay while he figured out whether something better existed. The next morning, Elliot called me 12 times before 8:30. I know because my phone sat face up on the kitchen counter, buzzing while I drank coffee that suddenly tasted stronger than usual. Every vibration echoed through the condo like an insect trapped against glass. I ignored every call. Then his sister Vanessa tried twice. Ignored her too. By the time I arrived at work, I already felt emotionally different. Not healed, not calm exactly, but detached in a way that frightened me a little. Like some invisible thread inside me had snapped clean during the night. Around lunchtime, Jana finally called back. Her first question was immediate. Is he on the condo title? No. Children? No. Any threats or violence? Just arrogance. She laughed once under her breath, before her tone sharpened again. She told me not to lock him out illegally, not to damage property, not to send emotional texts, and most importantly, not to underestimate how quickly regretful husbands reinvent themselves once consequences become real. Documentation is your best friend now, she said. Emotion is not. Good thing heartbreak had apparently turned me into a filing cabinet with legs. By Monday afternoon, Elliot came to the condo with his best friend Nathan. Nathan lingered awkwardly near the doorway, holding his truck keys like he wanted to disappear into another dimension entirely. Elliot walked inside looking irritated instead of devastated, which somehow insulted me more. The suitcase was gone from beside the door because I'd upgraded his exit presentation considerably over the weekend. His suits hung inside labeled garment boxes from Home Depot. Shoes lined the hallway wall in pairs. Golf clubs beside the closet. Chargers, watches, travel bags, headphones, and random tech cables arranged neatly across the dining table. I'd even made a spreadsheet inventory. Elliot stared at everything for several seconds. "What is this?" he asked. "A documented separation of property." His jaw tightened. "Edna, come on." I handed him Jana's temporary separation proposal. He skimmed the first page and actually laughed. "You cannot be serious." I folded my arms. "Unfortunately for you, I'm extremely serious." I said I wanted honesty, a conversation, not... He gestured wildly around the condo. "This." "You should have led with that before asking your wife for permission to shop around." Nathan looked down instantly. Elliot rubbed both hands over his face. "You're acting cold." "No," I said quietly. "I'm acting accurate." That's when Vanessa called him. He put her on speaker without asking me first, probably assuming family pressure would crack me emotionally. Bad decision. Her voice exploded through the condo immediately. "Are you seriously throwing away your marriage because my brother was honest?" I leaned against the kitchen counter. "No. I'm ending it because he was honest." Silence. Then Vanessa scoffed loudly. "Every married person says stupid things sometimes." "Interesting," I replied. "Did your husband ask permission to date other women over appetizers, too? Or was Elliot trying something innovative?" Nathan made a choking noise that sounded suspiciously like suppressed laughter. Elliot snatched the phone off speaker immediately. The rest of the pickup was tense and quiet. But underneath his frustration, I could feel something else growing. Disbelief. He genuinely thought I'd cool off by bedtime. He left carrying 2 suitcases and enough wounded pride to fill the hallway. I slept 8 uninterrupted hours that night for the first time in months. No glowing phone beside me in bed, no pretending not to notice emotional distance, no listening to someone slowly detach from me while expecting access to my loyalty anyway. 4 days later, things became strange. Trevor, one of Elliot's golf friends, texted me out of nowhere. "He's miserable. Maybe let things cool down before making permanent decisions." I stared at the message while standing in line at a pharmacy. Then I typed back. He asked for freedom from his marriage on our anniversary. We already had the permanent conversation. No response after that. Elliot, meanwhile, started evolving into a completely different species of man. Long emotional emails. Unknown numbers calling my phone. A flower delivery to my office that I refused downstairs without opening. The card attached read, "Don't let pride destroy us."
Pride.
Men always call it pride when women stop accepting disrespect quietly. Vanessa became worse. Paragraph after paragraph about how men panic about aging, how successful men struggle emotionally, how marriage requires grace, how I was humiliating him instead of supporting him through confusion. Confusion. Such a delicate word for betrayal. I blocked her after the third lecture. Then his mother called. Caroline Mercer had always intimidated me slightly because she possessed that terrifying kind of elegance older Southern women sometimes have. Soft voice, perfect posture, eyes that noticed absolutely everything. "Edna," she said gently, "I'm not calling to pressure you." Already different from Vanessa. "I just want to know exactly what Elliot said." So I told her, word for word. By the time I finished, the line had gone silent. Then finally, "He said this on your anniversary dinner?" "Yes." Another silence. Longer this time. Then quietly, almost painfully, she said, "I'm sorry." That apology mattered more than she probably understood, because it meant somebody else besides me recognized how ugly the moment truly was. Friday night, Elliot showed up unannounced, carrying takeout from the taco place where we'd had our first real date. Cute strategy. Manipulative strategy. Too late. My Ring camera lit up while I folded laundry in oversized sweatpants. There he stood outside the condo, wearing the denim jacket I bought him 3 Christmases ago, holding nostalgia in a paper bag like it was an apology. He rang twice. Then he looked directly into the camera. "Edna, come on," he said. "This has gone far enough." I muted the audio. He stayed outside another 4 minutes before finally setting the food beside the door and leaving. 20 minutes later, I checked again. The bag was gone. Building security had thrown it out. Something about that made me laugh harder than it should have. The next morning, our mutual friend Melissa texted me, asking if I was okay, because Elliot had posted something vague online about people abandoning marriage instead of fighting through hard conversations. I didn't respond publicly, didn't argue, didn't defend myself. I simply sent Melissa one screenshot. His exact message about marriage not stopping him from seeing what was out there. 3 dots appeared instantly. Then, oh my God. Exactly. That weekend, I deep cleaned the condo from top to bottom, washed every blanket, rearranged furniture, removed his framed golf print from my office wall, opened every window. The place felt physically larger without his uncertainty living inside it. Monday morning brought something unexpected. A promotion. My boss called me into his office and officially moved me onto a major hospital build project in Durham as senior project accountant. More responsibility, better money. "You're the calmest person in every crisis," he told me. "Clients trust that." I almost laughed out loud at the irony. If only he'd seen me 3 weeks earlier, sitting in my car gripping the steering wheel hard enough to leave nail marks in my palms. I started Pilates classes Wednesday evenings. Started sleeping better. Started breathing easier. Then came mediation. Elliot arrived wearing a fitted quarter-zip sweater and the expression of a man still convinced charm could reverse consequences. Jana arrived carrying 2 binders. I carried one too. Elliot carried denial. Halfway through the meeting, he leaned toward me and said softly, "I didn't think we were at divorce. Divorce. Like there was some playful rehearsal version first." Jana interrupted before I could answer. "You're not here to renegotiate emotional intent," she said coolly. You're here to discuss legal separation terms. He hated her immediately. Good. The prenup made the condo situation simple. Mine before marriage, mine after marriage. Shared furniture got listed. Savings split. Retirement calculations discussed. Everything clean, organized, painfully adult. But underneath Elliot's calm expression, frustration kept leaking through. Because every signature made the situation more real. That night, he sent one final text. I never thought you'd actually leave. I stared at it for a long time in the dark. Then I locked my phone and set it aside. Because finally, after months of emotional exhaustion, I understood something clearly. He never asked for freedom, believing it might cost him anything. 3 weeks later, Elliot finally realized I was not coming back. That was when the desperation started turning ugly. First came Celeste. She messaged me on LinkedIn of all places. I know this is awkward, but Elliot is struggling, and maybe closure would help both of you. Closure. From the woman sitting inside hotel bar selfies with my husband, I replied once. There will be no closure meeting. Do not contact me again. Then I screenshotted everything and forwarded it to Jana. A few days later, Elliot texted me from what he claimed was a hospital waiting room. Chest pain. Please call me if you ever loved me at all. Old Edna would have panicked instantly. New Edna replied, call Vanessa. An hour later, Nathan privately texted me. He's fine. Dehydration. There it was, manufactured crisis, right on schedule. Then Elliot accused me of stealing his grandfather's Omega watch. Jana handled it calmly, while I pulled up inventory photos from the day he moved out. No watch case anywhere. 2 hours later, Caroline texted me herself. He found it in his gym bag. I'm sorry. I sat in my reading chair, smiling into my tea like a lunatic. Because even his own mother sounded exhausted now. The final straw happened at my office. Reception called upstairs saying a man with flowers and a velvet ring box was demanding to see me. I already knew. Security removed him from the lobby after he raised his voice, insisting he was trying to save his marriage. That same night, Caroline called again. Her voice sounded tired in a way I'd never heard before. He left me a drunk voicemail, she said quietly. He said he just wanted to see what else was out there before settling forever. He assumed you'd cool off eventually. Then she added something that changed everything. I saved the voicemail. That was the moment I realized Elliot had officially lost control of the narrative. Court arrived 2 months later. Elliot wore a navy suit and practiced humility. Vanessa came glaring, like I'd ruined Christmas forever. But Caroline walked in carrying a manila folder and sat directly beside me. That image alone almost broke me emotionally. Jana presented everything calmly. The anniversary conversation, the harassment, the office incident, the false accusations, the repeated unwanted contact. Then Caroline spoke. Your Honor, I love my son deeply, she said softly. But he expected his wife to remain loyal while he explored whether something more exciting existed. When she refused, he became relentless. The courtroom went completely still. Then the voicemail played. Elliot's own voice filled the room, saying he thought I would cool off once she realized it wasn't serious. The judge removed his glasses slowly and looked directly at him. That statement is not helping you. Elliot finally looked afraid then. Not sad. Afraid. The court granted a 1-year no-contact order except through attorneys until the divorce finalized. I retained exclusive use of the condo. Outside the courthouse, Vanessa hissed, I hope you're happy. I looked at her calmly. I'm peaceful. Caroline hugged me before leaving. Then she whispered something I still think about sometimes. Thank God he showed you this before children. 3 months later, the divorce finalized cleanly. I kept the condo. Elliot kept his truck. Savings were split. No alimony, no dramatic war. Last I heard, Celeste disappeared the second real-life consequences arrived, and Elliot's social media became full of fake deep quotes about growth and protecting your energy. Me? I repainted the guest room sage green and turned it into a reading room. The Durham project succeeded. I started seeing Grant slowly. Quiet dinners, bookstores, honest conversations. Nothing exhausting. The biggest difference wasn't romantic, though. It was internal. I used to believe maturity meant endless patience, endless understanding, endless emotional labor for men going through confusion. It doesn't. Sometimes maturity is hearing the truth once and believing it immediately. Elliot thought calm women stayed forever. He was half right. I stayed calm. That's exactly why I left.